In entrepreneurship, while it's been the greatest aspect of my life, it's also been the biggest failure. Growing up, I always wanted to be a sports agent. Creation is fulfilling. The best agents tend to be lawyers because we know how to read through contracts and kind of shape them up.
What is your takeaway from being on the Failures Knowledge podcast?
Got to be ready to answer some tough questions.
Daniel, again, I appreciate you for your patience. Welcome to the Failures Knowledge podcast. I just got one question for you. Why Lomba, PA? Did I say that right?
You did.
Okay.
Lomba, PA, man, you good. Well, yeah, let me tell you a little bit about my story. So growing up, always wanted to be a sports agent. And so I went to FSU, studied sports management while I was there. And I was building these accolades, and I knew I wanted to be an agent, so I went to law school. And while I was there, I started my agency my first year. And so I actually was an NFL agent for a little bit, did that for 5 years. A super sexy business, very competitive, pricey. But as I was doing that, I built my legal career, and I realized I actually could help people a lot and learn some things that I really like to do, and that's just be a business lawyer. And so as I transitioned out of that, went to a corporate law firm, took some clients, and then here we are a couple months later, Lomba, PA.
And it's interesting. One thing that I learned about being in the podcasting space or having a podcast business is that it's not just a conversation. You're really helping people not only become the best version of themselves, but the people that don't have access to the people that you're talking to, you give them hope. You give them a different form of like seeing things. But when you see the difference for yourself, you start to say, wow, I'm actually making an impact. What was your biggest failure that you experienced while transitioning from a sports agent to having your own business as far as the Lomba, PA?
The biggest failure is actually something I struggle with as I transitioned into it. And it's kind of just, I created this image for myself. The whole time I always wanted to be an agent. I was pursuing it. Everything in my life was geared towards that. And so it's really just swallowing that pill that, you know what, that really wasn't for me. So let me find what is. And what I took from that was entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship, while it's been the greatest aspect of my life, it's also been the biggest failure.
People see your success today. Like, Daniel is successful. Daniel ain't been through nothing. Daniel ain't experienced no failure. But when people look at you, they start to see that they can do it as well. You're providing hope. You're providing clarity. You're providing a different vision. But your business is more than just a business because you're creating that. How does it feel to create that impact that you're looking to make?
Creation is fulfilling. I mean, starting the business has been the most impactful journey of my life, but it really starts when I started the agency. And so building that, creating an identity through that, and learning how I wanted to brand myself and market myself and learning everything. So, I mean, I found that so much more fulfilling than my 9-to-5 job, which was actually paying my bills. And while I was grateful for it, I lacked fulfillment. So that's why I talked about that transition from the sports world to my legal career. It's been much more fulfilling now that I own my own practice.
I was in the Marine Corps, and I noticed that even though we're serving the country, that's great. I believe in the mission.
Right.
But I'm like, there's a bigger cause. There's something more for me. Like, there's nothing wrong with the military, but how can I make a difference? How can I make an impact? When I start producing podcasting half a decade ago, I start to learn that every episode had a meaning behind it. Every guest had a story behind it. Every client had a story behind them. It's the story that makes a difference. It's the journey that causes change, but it's the impact from one person that causes you to say, I can do this even more. When you're really discovering the Lomba, PA, why law out of all things? Because you could have went into the free agents. You could have been a physical therapist. You could have been a physical therapy. Is it physical therapy? Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. But why Lomba, PA though?
Well, I think a better question will be, why did I go into the legal career?
Yeah.
And again, it ties back into, I always wanted to be an agent. The best agents tend to be lawyers because we know how to read through contracts and kind of shape them up. So I did that, went through it, and then having the education and the ability to help people with my legal degree kind of geared and shifted my mindset in my journey. And so this is how it happened.
And that makes sense now. So we're at the Tampa Business Expo. What is your biggest takeaway so far?
Get out there and network. It's my first time at a business expo. and learning to have conversations with different people and how to maneuver around those conversations and really feed off their energy. Something I'm learning to build day in and day out. And I'm getting a lot of exposure to it today at the Tampa Business Expo.
That's great. That's definitely true. Last question. What is your last question? What is your takeaway from being on the Failures Knowledge podcast?
Got to be ready to answer some tough questions. You asked me about my biggest failure and being able to have some comfort in that and come on this podcast and share that. I'll likely post this on social media. And so that'll be a big reveal for me. And you're giving me the opportunity to do it because failure is knowledge.
I appreciate that, man. Daniel, I appreciate it, bro. How can people find you? How can they work with you? How can they learn more about Lomba, PA?
Follow me on Instagram, Agent Daniel Lomba, Lomba, PA. That's where you'll find me.
There you go. Daniel, again, I appreciate it, bro. Thanks again for your patience.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
I like your pod, dude.